Hello. Okay, so I was going to make a video based on ABBA's matchups, and because I'm a really big fan of the character, I expected to be my new main. Normally, I played Soul, and now I'm going to play ABBA. She has been a favorite of mine, so I figured I would go through it. Um, so I have played in both Celestial and Floor 10 matches while I was learning the character, and I know it's only been a week, and I'm not the greatest, but I figured I'd just show you how or what I think about the characters, whatever. So, in terms of these good matchups, um, these aren't really good because Ava is good against them, but mostly just because they suck, and you can kind of just steamroll them. I'll go through it though. Bedman's projectiles, if he wants to keep you far away, you can just parry a lot of it, so that's free meter. And if he wants to run in, again, it's Bedman, so it's it's not that bad. And you can just kind of get yourself in, and he's a big target. He dies kind of easily, so it's a pretty good matchup for Ava. Elfelt, Elfelt Valentine is just not that good. She can't. She her big thing is she either goes in for big rushdown or she can kind of keep you away with her projectiles and then her mix-ups. But you can eat her projectiles, so that's free meter. So she can't zone you. And if you know the knowledge, right? So you know when she can go into Rekka and stuff, she's pretty easy to just lock down and then get your meter and then just transform. And then since she takes 10% more damage, she gets decimated pretty quickly. Zato, you can give or take actually. If you're good at fighting Zato because he's not a threat, yeah, it's fine because Zato can't do anything as long as you know the matchup. Um, so yeah, he's the worst character in the game, so it's pretty easy to see why Abba would be doing okay. Let's go to the OKs. I'll just run through it. Soul Bad Guy is not that bad. Again, Rushdown character, which means he has to get close. Abba likes it when you play close. He can't play mid range since 6S and Gunflame are extremely punishable. Or well, 6S is extremely punishable if Abba goes through it, but Gunflame is just terrible. And you could probably just heavy slash him out of it. I play Soul, so it's happened. Um, so yeah, in terms of the corner, it's Soul pressure, so it doesn't really change. And once you got Soul, you got Soul. Having an armor DP means that Souls are very DP happy, so you'll probably be okay. He's kind of tanky, but not that tanky, so it's okay. Same with Kai, really. Kai players are really weird, but it's generally okay. You can eat the fireballs if he tries to zone. If he tries to keep you out with buttons, it's the same as fighting like any other mid-range character, so it's not that bad. You can jump over him. You can go through his buttons. You have a lot of buttons that actually outrange him, so you can also do that to your advantage. Just watch out for Kai 6P. It's extremely threatening. May is not that bad. Again, rushdown characters Abachi does okay against, since she can kind of somehow force her way through if you just kind of know the matchups and know when you can jump and stuff. So that goes actually for May and Giovanna, since Giovanna plays a lot like May and Soul. So as long as you know the characters, either way, you can anti-air them pretty well with 2S as well, right? Because you have Fake Dolphin and then you have Kickflip, and you get pretty big punishes off of that. You can also you have buttons that outrange them, so Heavy Slash is a good outrange button. If they're like running at you, you can always 2H, even though that's a little more riskier. Um, yeah, that's kind of those two. Potemkin is you can give or take on this. I don't think it's terrible, but it's a grappler, and when he gets you in the corner, it can be bad. But he's also really big, and you could try to parry what's it called? The Garuda, right? Man, it's the fire gauntlet. Megafist can be really annoying, but it kind of just know how to deal with it, right? Since you have good anti-airs, you can deal with it pretty well. It's a pretty big call out. I don't think it's that bad. Again, he's a big target, so if you DP him, he can't really jump out of it. It'll probably guard crush him back down. So that's pretty good. Anji's the same kind of a mid-range character. You can eat the butterfly, which is extremely good. You could dash through a lot of his attacks. Um, Now, when he does his Rekka, he can be spaced very well, which means Abba really can't do much. But you just keep your patience, and it's actually okay. just has problems, so it's not really that big of a deal. Pairing the musical notes is pretty good. Otherwise, you're kind of just fighting a normal. Um, you know, she can zone you, which can be really annoying, but you do have an option to go through it. It's just kind of risky, and you can always just kind of play back, go for parries. When once you get meter, you can kind of run at her since a lot of Ino's buttons are very committal, and a lot of her special moves too. So, especially with Abba's fast air dash when she's in Jealousy Rage, so it's actually okay. Jacko's here just because I don't see one, and I can't really tell you anything about her, so I'm going to skip her. Thank you. Baiken, Baiken's always been a weird case. Baiken never does have bad matchups, but again, she doesn't have good ones either, so she always has okay matchups. You could say this is a bad matchup since due to the way Abba is, Baiken can keep getting tethers. A lot of her fake mix-ups actually give you the 7 frame time to parry. So like a lot of the tether backup stuff, just if they mess up the timing or if you just kind of know, because some of them are real, so don't mash on every single one. But yeah, it's kind of no different than like Soul or Kai versus Baiken. Doesn't It's not really that different. Sin is a lot like Kai. It's kind of the same thing since they're very similar. Uh, yeah, no, that's kind of it. Johnny can be annoying since he's a mid range, so I know you expect him to be down here, but I actually don't think it's the worst thing in the world, right? When Johnny starts getting steamrolled, he starts getting steamrolled really badly. But getting that first hit as Abba is kind of tough. But again, it's not like a bad matchup. It's just kind of tough. So you can still make your way through. If they throw out a card early, you could try to like just jump over if he wants to like dash in, do a low, right? It's kind of the same as playing any other Rushdown character, except the movement is just rough, as we know. These are the bad ones. It only gets worse from here, really. The two little rats, as I like to call them, the two little squishy rats. They take a lot of damage, yeah, but they're also really annoying. They can air stall extremely well against Jealousy Rage, so if they want, they can do that. Abva's has no movement against them running away. So again, it's a lot of the times if you start getting your pressure as Abba in normal mode, you'll just see these two will do like 4 back dashes back and then like try to jump at you or try to run up low. So extremely annoying since you can't really threaten them with anything. Leo and Gold Lewis, these two again heavyweights. Um, Leo can zone and then run behind it, and that's really annoying, which means you can't parry it or try to go through it because then it's really obvious and he can grab you. It's Leo though, so Leo's extremely good. So I think that kind of speaks for itself. Gold Lewis is weird. I don't know. I think it's a bad matchup because Whitewater Sword obviously, and he has a lot of moves that are so active that even if you go through it, it'll still hit you, right? If he jump dust, it literally your entire hitbox, so you can't go through it at all. That's annoying. You'd have to 6P it, and again, 6Ping Gold Lewis is really weird. So Gold Lewis just kind of gets to eat here for free, especially with the chip damage he does. He gets to just keep you in the corner. Testament, this is bad. It's not as bad as a lot of the zoners down here, but it's bad because you're just kind of stuck, and you could try to parry, and you can get a lot of meter, but you're never gonna actually have the time to transform since transforming takes like 26 frames. I think I might have to check Death Loop. But it's a bad matchup. You don't want to see that. Moving down to the bottom here, this is like when I'm in that match, I want to die. We have Happy Chaos, self-explanatory. I'm not even gonna explain it. He sits you there, he camps, he can chip damage you, or he can run up, do his mix up for free. This is just given since you can't really put pressure on him until you get your install. Axel is just terrible. Like you will be stuck forever. You can't install, you can't parry any of it. He can air stall. It's bad, man. It's like it makes me cry. It's bad. Faust is also extremely bad. It's the same reason as Axel, really. He can give you full screen if he wants. Except if Faust wants to run in, he has a command grab too, and that's annoying. So it's like, it's just so bad. I mean, once you get the first hit on these guys, and if you do, saying you ever get in, you can like kill them pretty quickly, but it doesn't really matter since it's like you have to take such a big gamble. Ramlethal is bad. It's like fighting a Faust, except who's not that squishy. So Ramlethal is extremely threatening with her buttons. Trying to trying to stop her swords in the corner is extremely bitchy because you can parry it, but again, I'll go into the changes about why parry needs to be improved. But if you leave the sword there, it's gonna explode, right? And you can parry the explosion, but then she could just run in and start the pressure again because again, you can't do anything out of parry as long as they wait up the invincibility. So yeah, this is bad. You'll be in the corner a lot against her, and there's not much you can do. Nago is god awful. I'm actually gonna move him up. Nago is terrible. He's doing imagine Ramlethal, but he does chip damage. It's like what? Why? Why? It's so bad. Jesus, I got 3-0'd so many times just because there's not much you can do against a man who goes invisible with chip damage, okay? It's extremely annoying. Bridget is terrible. Like, this is just so bad for Abba. She can air stall the best in the game with her double jump and then yo-yo throw. Her buttons just keep you at bay. There's not much you can do, and she can spam them out so easily, so even if you go through it, it's probably just gonna push you right back. And Asuka is just Asuka, so he's doing weirdo stuff, and I don't even know. I still don't know how I call him Asuka, how Asuka works. So this is just yeah, that's it. And again, Ava gets her own tier because that's just how these works. The first thing is I don't really think it's a change, but it's an important thing to note. So you have to do the key grab, right? And it moves her forward, but not only is it extremely like minus or extremely whiffable, but it doesn't always hit, right? So it's like, do you buff it, but then you make it too easy and she can get it off straight hits? So I don't know. You can kind of argue this. I'm kind of on the impression that it's fine as it is, but it's still important to note that you can get knockdowns and not get your jealousy meter off of it, and that's just terrible, right? Okay, her install this takes 29 frames, and I just like don't agree with it, right? Because it says it starts frame 19, and then for 10 frames you can't do anything. But it's just not good enough. So especially when an actual is locking you down, you just don't have the time to install, which means you have this whole meter and you can't do anything with it and you can't get close. So it's like, what can you do? Um, what else? Also, when coming out of this, you're like minus, and it's like, what? Why? Why are you minus coming out of this? When Nago comes out of his thing, that's it. He can block or he can mash even sometimes, and he can mash super, but Abba can't. Why? Why? That's, like, so weird. I don't understand why. It's bad, and that needs to change. She should be able to super out of it when she deactivates it, or when it forces her to deactivate. Yeah. Holland Heat, I don't know. I think it let me see it all, right? It just doesn't go far enough. I'm gonna be honest, like, a lot of times I've gone through a move, and it's just I have to block the next upcoming move, or I don't know. It's like just didn't go far enough to help me against zoners. So it's really weird, and it is minus technically. So it's pretty easy to mash on someone who tries to. It says it right here. You could do it by doing like fake pressure or a surprise reset tool. But come on, it's pretty obvious to see. I don't know who gets hit by that. I've been mashed on so many times just because it's obvious. This is a good move. I actually have no problem with this move. They did a good job on that. That's okay. That's okay. Here it is. Okay, so this is parry. What is this? What is this? Daisuke? 7 frames of startup for a parry? When you know what? You know how many 7 frames is? That's like what is that? 1/10 of a second? Come on. What is that? Especially to put you in counter hit recovery, which means for 15 frames, that's a full counter hit. That is stupid. That is terrible. There's no time where you're gonna get this off and like live. And then even if it does hit for the next 22 frames, you are now at guard point. But you're also still minus. So you get up to 22, but recovery 15, which means you don't always get a punish, especially if they didn't press anything, and then they can just time something after. So yeah, it's like that doesn't work properly. And I've had some really weird things where I've gotten it and then nothing happens. That's it. In terms of meter, I think it also meter should not decrease while you are grabbing someone because then it completely invalidates grabbing, which is probably her best time to do grabs because she's not grabbing you when she's in normal mode. So yeah, that's just kind of what I think should happen. I'm still gonna play the character. I still love her a lot, but yeah, some things really need to change. But that's it. There'll be another video out soon. I'll talk to you guys later.